Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
By 8-inch size.
Okay, yeah, stop looking. You won't get an 8 and a 4.
Yeah, I think I saw a post about that. Where someone was asking for that, right? Because you need 4.5 at a minimum.
I think you can get to 8-inch when you go to 4.5. Yes, sir. I don't recall, but it's either that or 5-inch.
Yeah. So my situation is I have a French door, and one of them is I guess it's in the middle of the reveal, and then there's a shade attached to the door which comes out about 3.5 inches. So when the door is opening, it obviously hits the reveal, and it potentially could hit the shade. So I'm trying to get this wide throw, but the shade itself is about 3 inches deep. So I think 8 was the minimum size that would fit between the where the hinges mount on the reveal and then the door. So I guess my question is, if I got a 4.5, right? Could the holes be drilled to accommodate the spacing for a 4-inch hinge plate?
The answer is no.
No.
Well, is it possible to order a blank hinge from somebody and you drill them in the field? That's possible, but customizing that material is generally not. Factories don't want to do it because it requires someone to stop what they're doing and do this. So that they won't do, but maybe getting a blank one might be possible.
Right. So I saw a post where you guys responded saying that you were able to drill the holes in wherever it needed to be.
That's not going to be anyone that I can work with on a wide throw hinge.
Oh, okay. You don't.
You can.
Sorry.
You'd have to take the hinge blank and drill them yourself.
Then you guys don't do blanks, right?
I just said you could probably take a blank hinge and then drill the holes yourself.
Right. Sorry. Do you guys sell blanks? Because I didn't see any. That's my question.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I got you a blank hinge, you drilled it yourself. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
How big is your door?
Completely. Let me see. How big is it? About 1/3/4. The exterior door.
Okay. So what I would do, rather than try to drill those holes, is since you're going to have to mortise the door and frame anyway, is I would drill the holes for your screws with like a 1/4-inch drill bit. I would then insert 1/4-inch dowel rod, and then I would simply re-drill the door and frame to accommodate where the new locations are.
Oh, so this is for an Anderson door. It has like a metal framework built out into the reveal that it sits into. It's like a quarter or it's rounded corner, radius corner.
How does that matter? So if you're
I guess what I'm saying is, sorry, go ahead.
If you're going to go with a 4.5-inch hinge, which was your suggestion, what is there? I'm confused. If you're using a bigger hinge, it's inferred that you can modify the door and frame for the bigger hinge.
Right. What I was thinking was I was going to use like an angle grinder and then shape out the hinges.
Grind the hinge
so
down?
It would, yeah.
Got it.
To fit into the radius corner.
Radius corner.
I think that's the term. It's like a rounded corner.
Oh, on your hinge. Oh, okay. Your hinge.
Sir.
You have radius corner hinges now. I understand now. Yeah, I see what you're going after there. Wow. Okay, so that is possible. I would not want to try to grind that down. That's going to prove to be brutal at best. If I was going to do it, of course, they're over 1/8 of an inch thick of solid steel. I would consider screwing the hinge down or securing it down to a piece of wood and then using a bandsaw so you could cut it straight. Anyway,
that's not a bad idea either.
Yeah, so let's go back and let's see if we can't take out the Achilles on this problem. How did you determine you need 8-inch?
So I just pretty much measure with a ruler from where it mounts on the reveal and then to the extent that we need to open for the shade to clear. Because again, the shade is about 3 inches deep.
How do you define the word reveal?
Is it reveal? Maybe I'm using the wrong term. I guess the doorway where the...
Maybe it is. I'm just asking you to edify me. How are you using the term reveal?
The area where the hinge mounts to the wall.
So the hinge would mount to the frame.
The reveal, I guess, like, is it the trim portion of it?
Is it? Are you saying that you have some casing applied you normally would. You'd have casing to the frame. Are you saying that some trim that's been applied to the face of the frame and therefore on the wall projects off the face of that, and you're calling that the reveal?
Okay, I see what you're saying. So I'm using it incorrectly. Right. So the molding is projecting and making the distance greater, so the door would have to open more.
Very good. How thick is the molding?
Half an inch.
Okay, very good. So you're going to take your door that's obviously got a window in it, and you're going to surface mount some sort of a vertical shade. Is that correct?
That is correct.
When you apply that to the face of the door, how far off the door does your shade project? How thick is that unit?
The shade unit is about 3.5 inches.
Oh my goodness! It's going to hang off that far.
Yeah, it's a big shade.
3 plus 3.5 plus 0.5.
And the door is like recessed in. That's why I needed the wide throw. Like even without it, it wouldn't be. It would only open 90 degrees.
Well,
even without the shade.
You mean with your standard hinge?
Correct.
Okay. Why is that?
I guess when they put it on, it's like in the middle of the arch, so it's kind of like it hits into the frame. I guess if you push it past 90.
When your door is hanging in the frame, is it flush with the frame, or is
No.
it sticking? Okay, so it sticks in about 1/2 inch.
No. Well, probably like 2 inches.
I see. So that's what we call the inset. The inset is really where you're having the problem. I mean, it's the shade, it's the thickness of the molding, and it's the inset. So
yes, sir.
The formula tells us that an 8-inch hinge will not work, because the formula is your door thickness minus your hinge back set, which is a new term in this conversation. We're going to assume it's 1/4 inch for the sake of this conversation. So that means 1.5. The formula tells us to double that dimension. Now we're at 3 inch. You add your molding. Well, you add your clearance, which in your case is going to be 1/2 inch for the molding, 3.5 for the shade, plus your inset, and you said it was 2 inch. That tells me it's a 9-inch hinge that you need. Now, if any of those dimensions are less, like if it's not 3.5 and really 3, okay, and you know what I mean? But the math you've given me, an 8-inch hinge will not work.
8-inch hinge will not work.
It's too small. You need a 9-inch hinge at a minimum.
Yeah, I wish I could send you this photo, but I think it's pretty clear. Yeah, like if I'm measuring from the door.
You can send me the photo. My email's under Contact Us in the upper right-hand corner. I'd love to see it.
Oh, let me send it to you right now on my phone. Email.
It's just sales@absupply.net.
Old FAB.
I'm sorry?
You said, what was the email you said?
Sales@.
Oh, got it. Yep.
That's okay. Now it's the same as the website. A
Yep.
as an architectural, yeah, absupply.net.
I'm not going to include a title. I'm going to shoot it over to you right now.
It's okay.
All right, send.
Any chance that is it decorative glass that you have on the door?
It's a French door.
Okay, is the glass decorative?
No, just clear glass.
So they, it may not be possible, but they do make internal blinds. You may solve it that way as well.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, we already got all the blinds for the house like about a year ago. We just been dealing with the problem, but sometimes when the kids open the door, it's like always like heart attack that they're not going to hold it and smash the shade right into the corner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, children are awful on hardware, and I say that because I led that charge. When I was in grammar school, I would, the last day before summer vacation, I would drop my foot down on the exit device like it was the hammer of Thor.
There you go.
And here I am spending, my living is now helping people fix their broken panic devices.
What a turn of events.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so there's no reason to have an unsafe condition. And, if your house is like mine, doors are really in the way. When they swing to 90 degrees, they're in the way. If you can get them back, they're not so in the way at that point.
Yeah. It was a very odd position it is what it is. The door is there. It's just I'm trying to figure out what to do, about it. That's all.
Yeah.
I was like telling my wife, I was like, oh, maybe we just switch the French door. She was like, yeah, I'm not paying that money just to, redo a whole door for this. So I'm like, back to the drawing board.
Yeah, well, you're right. If there's low-hanging fruit, that's what you're, before 2008, if I got a nail in a tire, I said, give me 4 new tires. Well, 2008 happened and we stopped all that business. Patch the tire, here's $20.
Yeah, how much? Okay, let me drive it a few more miles first, or a few more days.
Thank you. All right, so the email has not arrived. Why don't we give it a couple of minutes here?
Oh, I thought you got it already. I'm sorry.
No, definitely not.
Let me check my sent box. Yeah, it says it went through. Is it like a filter or something, maybe?
Yeah, it could be.
I think the picture is rather long. Let me send one more time because it was.
Yeah, but one photo wouldn't exceed the 25 meg.
Oh, 25 megs. Okay. Let me.
Okay, I got it. Henry W.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, let me stare at this. So that's showing the door partially ajar.
Yeah, correct. But I put the tape measure against the frame.
Oh, you want to get around that?
Yeah, and the shade is on the door, which is on the left side. I see. If you need one.
No, it's not necessary. So I'm literally looking at, about 3.5 inch there, which represents the fact that your door has a very large inset, and you have the thickness of your molding, your 3-inch wide trim, whatever there. You take that dimension and you add the projection of your shade that you're going to surface mount to the door. You're going to need a huge hinge, and the hinge does not exist that you need. Not.
Oh, really?
Not at all. The math that we ran is correct. 3.5 for the shade, another 3.5 for the molding and the inset. There is no hinge for what you want to do. It's far larger than what you can do, because you're taking that 3.5 and now you're going to add another 3.5 onto it.
Yeah, let me measure this one more time. Let me see what the shade depth is. Shade depth is, oh yeah. Yeah, 3.5 exactly. And then this will be, 3.25. So looking at it straight on, it's 3.25.
Yeah.
Maybe not 3.5, but probably doesn't make too much difference.
It doesn't. I mean, the formula. So running the numbers of the formula, you would need a 10-inch wide hinge. So there's no way to put something like that together. The only thing that one could possibly do, and people, our clients possess the skill set, if you were to take the widest 4x4 inch hinge you could get, which would be 4x7, and then if you had someone cut and weld everything back together to make that a 10-inch wide hinge, it's possible to do that. But the cost alone would be, someone to cut and weld. And then, well, those are black. Getting it powder coated black would certainly be possible. It could be done, but you're looking at hinges that would cost you several hundreds of dollars. You took in 3 hinges and say, I want you to modify these and cut the extension pieces out of these other hinges here that I had to buy. So it's possible, but not. People have done it, but.
Can I just go to is there a fabricator that can just make one-offs? I mean, I'm not expecting these to be like $20. I understand there's probably a cost associated with them. Yeah,
well, look at it this way: if a certified welder is going to be about $90 an hour, if I'm just putting it in context of a fabricator, so could you investigate that? Of course, you're going to want to look for people who can weld. Anyone who can weld could certainly do this. How far? So when I look at your picture, your door that's partially ajar, what is the width of the stile from where the edge of the glass is to where the edge of the door is? It about 5 inches?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So when you look at the door in elevation, if you just look at the door when it's closed, how wide are the vertical edges of the stiles of the door when you look at it in elevation?
The wide of the vertical edges.
Yeah, so if the door is 3 foot wide and your glass is 24-inch wide, each of those vertical stiles would be 6 inch.
Oh, so each stile is approximately, let me see, about 12 by 8, each stile. There's an 8-foot door, 36 inches wide.
Oh, but they can't be 12. That's really wide. Is it actually 12?
12, what, the glass stiles? No, 12 inches tall, 8 inches wide, so each glass stile. Okay, you mean each pane, right?
Well, from your photograph, just that part of the door that I can see, how wide is that?
Oh, that is 5.
5 inch. Okay, that makes sense. Is it possible that you could attach your shade to the face of the door and open it to 90 degree and not have the shade touch the molding? Because
that's doable. That happens now.
Okay, so here's where I'm going with this. You could buy a piece of hardware called an overhead stop, and you could surface mount them, or they could be mortised. It's basically a slide track that would absolutely dead stop the door when it got to that dimension. So you couldn't push the shade into the outside corner of your molding.
Oh, yeah. No, I thought about that, but I think the end goal was to have the door be able to open fully. That way, because you don't see the whole photo, but it's almost like a little hallway leading to that door. So in order to get in the door, you have to come in, close the door before you can walk past it.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it opens into a hallway. That's why. It was a very weird design.
Well, I mean, the house I raised my kids in was, 2,400 square feet. It had lots of narrow hallways that you had to close the door first. So, at this point, I've contacted factories. Will you make something bigger than 8 inch? Will you make a 10 inch? The answer is yes, they will. The last time I quoted 5x10s, they were over $1,000 a hinge. Because what were they going to do? Right, exactly. Now, if you look at historical work, the original state capitol building of the state of Iowa, it's full of 16-inch wide hinges. But to replicate those today is is unapproached. Only taxpayer dollars would be used for such a thing. So you could investigate the whole welder fabricator concept, and I think that would be your only sort of realistic option.
Okay. All right. Just a weird question. Why the 16 inches? Is it just that deep in?
So, Greg, thank you for asking. So construction in the mid 19th century, before steel, right? So you had a 2 or 3 story building. The thickness of those first floor walls was like 20-inch to support the weight of everything above it. So not only did you have a 20-inch wide thick wall, but those doors, like your inset, they had like an 8-inch inset or whatever the number was. The doors were centered in these super thick walls, and they look great. And someone who didn't sell hardware wouldn't notice these obscene hinges, but that's what they basically were. And it's because of that huge inset, and that was the only way to solve it, because if you had the door flush to one side, it would look really strange on the other side. Like another way for you to solve this problem is move your door out. Make that 2.5 inch, what you were calling reveal, make that 1/8 of an inch. Add wood to the frame everywhere, remortise everything, repaint everything, then you could solve the problem with a standard hinge.
Yeah.
So that's, you look at plantation homes from the South that are mid-19th century, 3 stories tall, but those first floor wall thicknesses are huge. So that's where your hinge size comes in.
I see. So back then, that's how they had, I guess, like insulation strength. It's just make it bigger.
Well, it's just the wall had to be thicker to carry the weight of everything above it.
That's pretty cool, actually. So, and then those hinges, being that long, had no problem bearing the weight of the door?
The doors were not actually that heavy. They were like, and that's, which is in Iowa City, by the way. Those doors were like, 2'6" by 8 foot, 10 light doors. So they weren't heavy. And it's a historical place. You're not touching the doors ever. You can't get past the stanchions to touch the doors. It's like going to George Washington's house. You can't touch anything.
Yeah, it just stays pretty much the way it is forever.
The way it is forever. No, They only touch it to service it, once every 5 years.
I got it. So, looking at these hinges with the price again, so I'm guessing like these pre-made ones, like the 4.5 by 8, that $241 is per hinge, right?
Well, it depends on which one you're looking at, but those hinges are certainly priced and sold per hinge.
Got it. It's just, I guess, like the material, the labor to go into it.
Well, a lot of people make wide throw hinges. And you can, Stanley's going to be less expensive than most people. And you ought to be able to get that hinge size down, that hinge price down to maybe $100. Because if you're going to weld something, you're going to want prime coat, the cheapest finish made of steel.
Yeah, and then just spray it, whatever. But I don't know. Like I just heard you say like it was like $1,000. I'm like, whoa, that's an intensive price.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I don't think I'm prepared for. That's literally the price of a door, right? 4 of them is like exactly $1,000. Oh no, $4,000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's no one would do that unless it's historical work. The Texas State Capitol building in Austin is full of hinges. Because I've been there, I've seen them. I know the company who made it when they did some historical replacement work. These hinges were like $5,000 each because they were hand etched. They were solid bronze, wide throw. And if you've ever been to Texas, they put the star of Texas on everything. Manhole covers have the star of Texas. Okay, so I mean these hinges were exceptionally ornate. The building construction was about 1860 and went over a 15-year period or whatever it was. So these really odd, unusual hinges are in those applications only. Like I said, only taxpayer dollars would fund it.
Yeah, I think so. Where it's not my money, but
exactly.
I like it, so let's get them.
Right, exactly.
All right, I think that helps. At least I can stop Googling now because I've been doing it for like a day or two. So, and I haven't found anything what you said.
Yeah, it's fun to do the research, but yeah, after 8-inch, it's going to stop.
All right, so I guess at this point I got to speak with the welder or fabricator. I mean, but the ball bearing hinges, that's pretty standard stuff, though, right? A welder would be able to get those types of things.
He would, or you would just buy the hinges from me, and then we'd ship them to him. And you could have
and then he would
call me and.
I see. Yes, that's what you were saying. Buy the 4 whatever, and then cut it, and then add the plate to it and weld it down.
Right. And, realistically, the welder's either going to tell you I can get steel to use as the extension filler pieces, or because it's an unusual thickness, it's 130 thousandths, and he's probably not going to have anything that thickness. He's probably going to say, yeah, I need some blanks. You got to send me some, what I mean to say is you got to send me some hinges that I can cut out the parts that I need in order to do this.
Cut the parts that he needs. So what's the closest blank that I would get? It's like a 4x7, right?
We'd have to look at the templates of that material to see what could be done, but you're certainly dealing with a 4-inch hinge. But it looks like everything you have there is made of wood, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wood frame, wood door. Yeah, but the hinge is metal.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know why the door is that way. It's the hinge sits inside like a radius corner, like a seat. It goes in there, and that's metal. And I prefer to just keep it, the way it is.
Right. Okay. So
I guess I could knock it out and chip down the wood. I could, but I would prefer not to.
Well, yeah, that's called squaring the corner. That will save you, if you have to do radius corner on hinges, that will save you about 25% if you square those out with a chisel and a hammer. But it can be done in a radius corner either way.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it would be the welder's job to do that, right?
Yeah. True, but you would want to order them correctly so that you're not relying on a welder putting it on a bench grinder. You could do that. And the guy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You want the factory to give you the proper radius on that.
And just have the welder do literally just the cut and extension and put it back.
Exactly. Cut some hinges, weld some stuff up, grind it, sand it, prime it.
Okay, so let's see. I guess I would be looking at the 4x7, and then I would custom order from you guys with the radius corners done. Right.
Yes. Then we would need some. Then we would need some more 4x7 so that he could slice the hinge leaves down to get those pieces of metal, so that he could weld into the permanent hinges that he'll also have to cut down.
Oh, so you're saying I need to buy extra hinges to get the metal from it?
Exactly. Yeah, you'll have to get steel to extend it somehow, and if he doesn't have steel of the right thickness, which no one would because hinges are not a standard thickness.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I got it. But for that, I would just have to buy extra hinges. There's no, you don't sell the metal on its own.
Exactly. Definitely extra hinges.
Oh, man, that is costly.
It's going to be. Oh, yeah. No, this is a $1,000 project on the inside.
1,000 I would do. 1,000 I would do. But then I don't know what a welder would charge to extend it. All right. So just spitballing right now. Didn't you
always want to learn how to weld?
I did, like TIG welding, and then there was a brazing welding. No, I'm serious. I did, but then after a while, I was like, this is too complicated. I'm going to burn out my house before I weld anything to get two pieces of metal together.
Yeah, well, TIG and brazing are not what you would do. You would do MIG welding, but unless you have a MIG welder, you're going to be in for $500 minimum just to get the tool.
Yeah, so. No, I highly doubt it. Maybe a car exhaust, maybe a leak that'll take like 5 seconds. Yeah, not worth it. Just take it to $100.
Or you go into the business of making 10-inch wide throw hinges. So
there you go. That's a great idea. That's an awesome idea. I don't know if there's a market for that, but I could start at Etsy.
People are. This is not the first call this year about wide hinges. So.
All right. So realistically, I would need 4 of those hinges, and I guess 2 blanks. Is that right or no?
I'm pretty sure that you're going to need more than 2. I would count on 4 because you're going to need to extend both of those, both leaves of the hinge.
Oh yeah. Both sides. You're right. And the ones that you guys sell blanks, right, without holes drilled in that same size.
I'd have to get a quote from the factory. Not every manufacturer does that.
Okay, I'm looking at the Bomber ones, I guess.
Bomber, I don't think is going to do that. I'd have to ask them.
Oh, so what brand would we be talking about?
Well, possibly McKinney or Stanley.
Oh, so Stanley sells them in 4x7.
Oh, they all do.
Oh, they all do. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't find many 4x7. Okay. And how much are Stanley 4x7s?
Send me another email and I'll get you a quote on what that is because I don't have it priced and I don't want to guess off off the hip.
Okay. Really appreciate the information. I'm actually gonna see if I can find a welder and see what they can what they'll price out for something like that, and then I'll send you an email for the parts if that's okay.
Please do.
All right, man. Really good chatting with you, and a lot of information. Saved me that Google time. Yeah. Hope you stay safe and enjoy the rest of your summer.
Same to you, sir. I'm glad you called.
All right. Thanks again.
Bye.
Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.